What is up, guys? I'm Alfredo, and today I'm going to be showing you calisthenics equipment that is actually worth buying. One of the biggest benefits to bodyweight training is the fact that you can train anywhere. You don't technically need any equipment, but if you're wanting to take your training to the next level and you're wanting to unlock a bunch of different exercise variations, then you definitely need to invest in some solid calisthenics equipment. And I'm only going to be talking about equipment that I personally use, so if you think that I missed something, make sure to leave a comment and tell me which piece of equipment you think should have been included in this video. The first piece of equipment that I'm going to be talking about is really the only piece of equipment that you need, and that is a pair of rings. The versatility of rings are unmatched. You can perform almost any bodyweight exercise imaginable on them, and they have a bunch of other benefits. The unstable nature of the rings means that you have to push to a higher intensity to perform an exercise such as a pull-up. While actually having to perform the pull-up, your body basically has to stabilize itself in midair, recruiting more muscle fibers in the process. Also, rings provide more joint movement than really any other piece of equipment. With straight bars, you're kind of limited with your joint movement, but rings encourage full range of motion for your joints. The reason resistance bands are so important is because they allow you to bridge the gap between variations. Once you start training calisthenics, you will quickly realize that progressing is a little bit different than weightlifting. With weightlifting, you can simply add 5 or 10 pounds onto the exercise that you're currently doing to see if you're getting stronger. But with calisthenics, usually progressing involves changing the leverage of the exercise. For example, going from a straddle planche to a full planche. The problem with this is typically from one variation to another, the strength gap is a lot bigger than you'd think. So sometimes it's kind of hard to determine whether you're progressing or not, and it can honestly be pretty frustrating. But what bands allow you to do is bridge that gap. Using bands can help you perform harder variations and build strength in that position. It can also help you get some extra volume into your training. For pretty much every single advanced move that I've unlocked, I've used bands on a daily basis. All right, next on my list is protective equipment. As you progress in calisthenics, the exercises are going to get more and more physically demanding on your joints. A lot of calisthenics athletes end up running into wrist problems and elbow problems. One, because they're not properly warming up, and two, because they're probably not wearing their protective gear that they should be. Wearing wrist wraps and elbow sleeves will keep your joints warm and add that extra layer of stability, which ultimately will reduce the risk of injury. Okay, and now it's time for my favorite piece of calisthenics equipment, and that is parallettes. These are easily my most used piece of calisthenics equipment, and if you follow me on TikTok or Instagram, I'm sure you've seen these a ton of times. I prefer training on parallettes for many reasons, but the main reason is comfort. When doing exercises like handstands and push-ups, the parallettes are a lot more joint friendly than the floor, especially with these parallettes from Pull Up and Dip. They have a thick ergonomic wooden handle that really fills up your hand and allows you to use all the strength that's in your hand. These things literally go with me everywhere. I have a pair in my house, I have a pair in my car, and I usually have a little pair that goes in my backpack, and I take them with me everywhere. But alright guys, those are my top recommendations for calisthenics equipment, and those are pretty much all the equipment that I use on a day-to-day basis. So I can guarantee you that you're not going to be disappointed if you buy any of this equipment. And also, don't forget that you can find all of the products that you saw in this video on Pull Up and Dip's website. I'm going to link them down in the description, and I'll also link each product individually. And if you want to save a little bit of money and support me at the same time, make sure you use code FREDO10 for 10% off of your order. That's all for this video. I will see you guys next time.